Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Isani Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Belize. Good morning, Isani.
Hey,
Good
April,
to
good morning.
be with you here on this Monday
Yes.
morning.
Bright and early.
Bright and early, and it's already the second week of August. But we have a lot of topics to discuss. So here is your overview for this morning's show. We're going to start things off by discussing dengue, the facts, the risks, and solutions for this disease. Our second conversation is with the Belize Companies and Corporate Affairs Registry, and it's all about redefining business name registrations. And then following that, we will have Bowen and Bowen in with bringing new energy to the party scene. And we'll wrap things up with a hot topic with Isani and I discussing establishing an independent prison. Would it be an oversight to body reduce incidents of inmate neglect and abuse? So that is our show lineup for this morning. Good morning, Isani.
Hey, April, how was your weekend?
Busy, working as usual. And yours?
Well, mine was quite the opposite.
Okay, that's good.
Well rested and relaxed, ready to take on another busy week.
I love that for you. Yeah, no, we were at Gales Point this weekend. Yes.
What was taking place there?
Actually, we have been working with the community of Gales Point for actually over a decade to try to get the Brahman Sambai on the UNESCO representative list.
Okay.
So we're coming up to the finalities of that nomination, and we just wanted to talk to the community, catch them up to speed, and we're all excited about this.
Is it something that is waning, or is it something that continues to hold strong in terms of the practice of Sambai and Brahmin and stuff in that community?
It definitely is a continuous practice. However, after observing it for over a decade, we are seeing it slowly start to wind down, and so this nomination is an opportunity to not just get global recognition but get national recognition for it and inspire Belizeans. If you do not do nothing on Christmas and Boxing Day, head on over to Gales Point, do some Brahming. It's a really, if you've never done it, it's a great cultural experience. The community is definitely involved. People come out. I noticed, I think last year it was that people came from international countries to come and witness it. So it's just another cultural tradition that we're hoping to safeguard here at home.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, here are the 5 things you need to know coming out of your house this morning, all right? So we're going to be discussing a deadly fire over the weekend that claimed the life of one man in San Pedro. The United Nations Security Council condemns attacks on journalists in Palestine, Gaza. Call center law in the U.S. could potentially affect the organizations in Belize. Taste of Belize, and of course, KTV The Remix Season 7. So I want to begin first of all by talking about what's taking place on the other side of the world. So the Israel-Palestine conflict has been raging for going on 2 years now. And journalists have been able to provide coverage in one form or another of what's taking place in the Middle East. Very recently, 5 journalists were killed in the line of duty.
Right.
And these journalists were assigned to Al Jazeera, right? Some may be asking, why are we having this conversation? Well, it's very, very simple and straightforward. I am a journalist,
Yeah.
right? Those of us who work in the media are journalists, and our jobs are very, very important in terms of being able to tell the tales, tell the stories of people, right? And in this case, this is war reporting, basically, right? And what you're seeing here are images from the United Nations, where the ambassador for Palestine is essentially telling the UN Security Council, well, look, if you believe what Israel is saying, well, why don't each of you bring along 100 journalists from your respective countries and put them on the ground and have them report for themselves what they're observing in real time. But the long and short of it is that, as I mentioned earlier, as journalists, we are tasked with being able to tell the stories that matter. When we talk about people, when we talk about the interaction with people, not only in times of war, but in any aspect of their lives, we shine that light on them, and we try as best as possible to do so as objectively. So in this particular case, I don't know that those journalists were on the ground reporting a bias. I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but they were doing their jobs when this unfortunate incident happened. Right?
It's important to also note, Isane, that this sort of tension between Israel and the media has been ongoing from the beginning of this war. Because if you, like you rightfully mentioned, we're here to tell the story, and if you control that narrative, you control the way the rest of the world sees, you know, the situation taking place. If you are biased to the situation and you report it and you spread that news, people are not going to be fully aware of what is actually taking place. So when you revoke or when you remove or when you cause harm to persons that are there trying to do their job, you know, you essentially try to eliminate the way the narrative is being played out.
Yeah. And that's most unfortunate, you know. Again, I sympathize with, you know, the plight of those journalists and their families who, well, are left in grief as a result of what took place there. So that's a conversation on the international front, April.
Yes.
Another one that's on the international front that stands to affect Belize, should this piece of law be passed in the United States, is the issue of a proposed legislation where business process outsourcing is concerned. BPOs, call centers, right? Where there's a law before the Congress where the American politicians are basically saying, well, look, we need to get back those jobs onto US soil, right? Why are we discussing this? Very, very easy too. A great deal has been made about the progress in the BPO sector in Belize. When you listen to the Prime Minister and he talks about economy and the growth of our economy, it has a lot to do with the BPO sector. And so once this piece of law comes into force, should it be passed, it's probably going to have some serious effects on Belize, right? In terms of what the politicians are asking for over in the United States, right? That, I don't know if you've been able to see what the conditions are.
Yes,
right?
but clearly it's to say that if you have a call center, a BPO company, or something that fits within those lines of a business
that is offshore,
then you are going to be potentially paying a particular amount of fine in the United States in order to keep that going. And it is to bring back those jobs, those businesses onto American soil. And if you are outsourcing, the caller can request that they speak to an American. So then they have to redirect that call back to the United States. And that you have to then also state that you are not an American citizen. If you have an American business offshore, like a BPO or something like that, and you're working, so if I'm working for them, I have to state that I am Belizean, you are talking to somebody from Belize, where then that person can potentially say, I need to speak to an American, and then you click, redirect that call to the American business.
Here's my humble opinion on it, right? The little that I know about the call center business,
World.
so to speak, right? So you have Belize, then you have the Philippines, just as two examples, right? But we're so Americanized in terms of our influence, and the fact that we're an English-speaking country.
Our accent doesn't come.
I would want to think that it's easier to communicate with someone from Belize, if that were the case, versus someone from the Philippines who has a heavy Filipino accent. May be a language barrier there. But I don't know that it's about that as much as it is about the money.
It is about the money staying in the United States, because I think that, like I said, if the call comes to me, I have to still state that I am from Belize and you're speaking to a Belizean. And then they would then ask to speak to an American, and then there's nothing I could do.
And the chatbot must also declare that it's artificial intelligence
AI,
as opposed to a human person who's having that interaction with the customer.
The headlines that I believe we spoke about it in our newscast on Friday, and I think the conversation was also redirected to what that could do for the Belizean economy, and perhaps it would be the opportunity for businesses here to pivot into something else. So that's also where that conversation is going.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's optimistic,
yes,
but at the same time, it's very, very tricky, right? When you look at the landscape right now, a lot of young people straight out of high school or sixth form, or some even at the higher tertiary level, go to the BPO, the BPO sector to sort of establish themselves and then be able to move on, right? So it's a good launch pad in a manner of speaking. You also find that some teachers have left the classroom in pursuit of a job at a call center. Tour operators and tour guides have also done the same, so on and so forth. And as I mentioned earlier, it's being touted as the industry for young people to establish themselves in. And now, if this passes, it's like you're pulling the rug from underneath the entire industry's feet, right?
It's definitely quick money, I will say. But then the conversation surrounds those that have, like you said, teachers are doing it, tour operators, tour guides, and so forth. Other persons that have specialized degrees are taking this, well, I can't find a job, so I'm going to a BPO kind of approach. So I don't know where we're gonna be at in the next few months with this law, if it does come to fruition in the U.S., how it's going to affect us, or if it's going to affect us right away, and how damaging that would be. But I don't know. I think I've always been that person where, man, if you study and you work so hard for this one degree and then you have to end up in a call center, that's just my humble opinion.
Yeah, and
right?
I humbly disagree.
Well, you work hard for your degree, Sonny.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with the price of tea in China, my humble opinion. The reason I'm saying that is because, yes, to a certain degree, you're right. You're talking about the idea of working hard, going through the entire academic process, and not being able to find a job that suits your qualification.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the creation of job opportunities through this particular sector, you can't knock on that. So you can't say, oh, well, it's a last chance for people. People have established themselves in worthwhile careers in the BPO industry.
That's true.
Right? And I don't know that they were looking closely at whether they have a science background or whether they had an economics background or whatever. Right? Yeah. It's your ability to be able to do the job. That's the reason I'm objecting to what you're saying.
And I'm not on it, but I think it's one of those ways where now we have to, as a community, come together and see, all right, if this happens, how do we now figure out how to make our economy grow? If this happens, it's going to be a plunge. So what can we do? find solutions to this particular problem. It might not be something that we are dealing with now, but it could be something that we could potentially deal with later. So just my 2 cents this, sir.
And quickly before we go, KTV tomorrow,
yes,
the genre is soundtrack. So if you're fans of movies and the music that comes along with those music and those productions and what have you, then you want to tune in tomorrow. I know by this thing, My Heart Will Go On. They can't do that. Hey, my humble opinion, I can't really nail Celine Dion, so I left that one alone.
I'm a huge, Phil Collins made the Disney Channel soundtrack type of vibe, so I think if you do anything Phil Collins, you can't go wrong, but that's just my humble opinion as well. But I do love a good movie soundtrack. I think that some great songs have come out of movies. So, yes, so tune in to KTV, the remix tomorrow at
undoubtedly, some of the best songs come from movies.
Yes.
But they're very tricky and difficult to nail.
They are.
That's the thing about it.
They are.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll give you 2. This is just from the old school, right? When you listen to, so back in 1993,
okay,
there was this movie with Kevin Costner. It's called Bodyguard, right? With Whitney Houston, right? And the song was I Will Always Love You, right? Mm-hmm. Written by Dolly Parton. But that was one of them songs, it's a perennial classic, but not many people could nail that song with all its highs and what have you. Similarly, with Celine Dion, right?
My Heart Will Go On.
My Heart Will Go On, right? That's from the Titanic soundtrack. Then that song where, to this day, we still love and appreciate those songs, but not everybody, in my opinion,
well, we're going to find out tomorrow at 8 p.m. And of course, tickets are available here at the Greater Belize Media Studio or at the 88 Shopping Center. And of course, if you can't head on over to the Bliss, you can watch it live on the KTV, the Remix Facebook page, or here on Greater Belize Media. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be one for the books. But before we get into our weather update, we just want to remind our viewers that there is an online poll. There is just the weather for this morning. So let's head on over to what the folks at the National Meteorological Service have to say. All right. So we are going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more Open Your Eyes. Don't go away.
Setún presenta Los Cumbia Kings. Los Cumbia Kings en concierto. Este 30 de agosto en el Estadio del Pueblo, Orange World Belice. Los Cumbia Kings en vivo.
No tengo dinero ni nada que dar.
No te pierdas el concierto del año que te hará bailar como nunca. General 150, VIP 200 y Platino $350. Boletos a la venta en la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone. También con Orange Drag con cuellos, Shell One Stop, María's Café, Lifestyle Beauty Salon. y WSK Call Center al 611-3677. Amor Turquesa, Boutique Belmopá. Gracias al patrocinio de
BTV, Mechas, Cuellos, Lock and Loaded, Mark Production, Quick Pass, Lighthouse,
Instituto Nacional de Cultura e Historia y Smart Belice.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Believe Media.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Believe Media.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and our first conversation is with the folks from the Belize Corporate Companies Registry, and we have with us Miss Yuri Alpuche, and she is a project manager over at BCCAR. Good morning.
Good morning.
And next to her we have Santiago Gonzalez, and he is the deputy registrar over at BCCAR. Good morning.
Good morning.
And lastly, Miss Danielle Bowen, and she is a legal officer over at BCCAR. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
So
morning.
we've been kind of having a conversation off camera about redefining the business name registration with BCCAR, and it's more to modernize the bill essentially.
Yes.
So I want to start with what the bill previously was first, and what essential changes you all have been making to kind of modernize it to fit this 2025 era. So let's start with you, Danielle.
Sure. So the previous bill is quite old and outdated. So it was first enacted in 1950, so that's really outdated. We actually conducted a diagnostic assessment just to review and see what are the shortcomings with the legislation, and there was a lot of work to be done. So it did not align with our legislative framework. It didn't align with international standards. There were some inconsistencies. It wasn't in keeping with our other legislation related to companies. So there was a need to modernize the legislation.
How would it potentially impact and benefit the business community in Belize?
Well, first of all, it's a lot more straightforward. It's a lot more streamlined. The procedures are a lot more clear. And then it also clarifies the duties and the powers of the registrar. So that makes things a lot more straightforward. When the law isn't clear and there are inconsistencies, that causes problems for everyone.
Why has it taken this long? If we're saying that the piece of law is antiquated, it's drafted and enacted back in the 50s, that's a mighty long time ago. And I would want to think that in the business world, things are always evolving. So we should have legislation that match and that grow with business.
Right.
Why has it taken this long?
Well, Armin, you'll be surprised to see the amount of legislations that we have that are very old and outdated. I mean, you know, it takes someone to take interest in the law and to review it and to benchmark it against other jurisdictions to see if indeed we are competitive. The Belize Companies and Corporate Affairs Registry was brought under the Financial Services Commission in 2022. And that's when the team really started taking a look at all the different business entities we have in Belize. We have many actually, and I think the public is not fully aware. Of course, the main entity that business owners utilize is a business name. Why? Because it's a very simple type of entity. It's very cost effective. It's just $25 to register a business name, and then you can start your operation. So that this is really why that is the most popular entity that the public or the businesses in Belize utilize. There was a major amendment done in 1987, and then there was another one done in 2022 when we brought on the online business registry system to allow business name to operate in the system. But there are pieces everywhere. So now it's a good time to bring it all together and just overhaul the entire business name bill and to bring in other modernized practices and to make clear, like what Danielle said, to ensure that the restoration rules are clear, the cancellation rules are clear, the registration rules are clear, the rules around why a registrar would cancel a business name are clear. If someone is doing something they should not be doing, you know, the registrar has the power to be able to go in and to clean up the registry and to cancel that business name. And then there are new features that we're looking at. Business name as it stands cannot restore. So let's say you shut down your business name, you close it down with us, and something happens. So there's no ability to restore that business name. So now we're bringing that feature into the bill. And we're also looking very closely to see how we can bring in the feature of transitioning from a business name type of entity to a company, because there are two different types of entities. And this is something a lot of owners ask, is it possible for us to do that? And now with the system, we're trying to see how we can have that transition happen to work with the business community.
How are these bills and laws being reinforced in Belize? And I ask because, you know, sometimes a person is operating in full swing with just a business name. And what does the law say about somebody that just has their business name registered? Are they supposed to be fully operational? Do they operate? Can they operate? What are the procedures to, you know, register as a business fully instead of just having your name on the registry? Yeah.
So I think to answer that, we need to define what the business name is. Santiago?
Which is, it's very important when you look at everything. A business name is basically I'm doing the business. There's no separation from myself or, for example, the company, which is the entity on itself. So all liabilities on everything is in a business name. So our advice on the owner, you know, we would always advise, and just to follow up in a conversation, and this is where this idea came up, that as a business name or the owner, you can continue as a company, because the process right now is you would have to dissolve the business name and then incorporate, and it shows like if you're just starting. So in actuality, we want to show a history, because there are people, operating this way, and their business, we do understand that you start small. Your business starts growing. So this is where the education begins, and we're like, as you get bigger, it is better if you transition into a company because of the liability. It doesn't fall on you and the owner. Something goes wrong, it's basically everything you own. Your house, everything would go. So that would be the main difference with it.
I presume that sensitization has been quite a challenge in terms of being able to have people receive, those who are in the business sector who are invested in this, have them receive this particular message and take action.
Well, in actuality, we've been around. We've visited, even we've been in the villages, and that specific one, we actually saw an uptick where when we're explaining to certain business owners, they would close their business name and incorporate a company. So I would say that in that part, a lot of them are listening. And again, the education continues. We're out there explaining all of this. Even with the new features, like we're saying, yes, we put it under the companies, but before you register a business name and that's it. Now there's other steps that you need to take. It's just not registration, filing of your status. You could actually, and business has changed, so you can get a good standing. You get your detail extract, your certificate. So these are things that we have noticed that other institution, a financial institution, we actually have BTB. That's one of the ones, that request these documents. So it's there and easy access for the client.
How does this bill help business owners with intellectual property and copyright infringement?
So, intellectual property and copyright, where do you take that?
I would say that it's basically a first step. So having the name is a first step, but of course that doesn't protect your intellectual property rights just off the bat. You are, I would suggest that you then go and register your trademark. So it's just the first step of other things that could be taken, but it's, I would say, just establishing your name, your brand out there. That's really what the business name registration process is.
A simple example, just wanted to expand on what Danielle just explained. Let's say I have a very specific business name and I've invested, I've created my brand, I've created, my different branding colors, etc. I've launched my different pages. Registering that name is your first step, like Danielle said. But if you want to protect the brand, you want to protect the services that you do around your brand, and that is the next step that you need to take. You need to go to BELIPO and register that logo and register the services, so that if anyone else comes to try to mimic or come close to you, then you have first right, and you can take action to protect yourself.
Which we've had cases.
Yes,
we've had many cases where, and certain steps are taken, so your name is
Protected.
It's protected. It is protected, because one of the things that we realize here in Belize is that the business name is used for several purposes. There are some people that will register a name, and it's just a name. They're not doing business, but maybe for the future, so it's a name reservation. So those are things that we're looking at.
There are also restrictions.
Yeah, there are also restrictions.
What are the restrictions?
Let me see, assurance, banking. We're trying to remove that from a business name. In other words, not because you register a business name, you can do financing. So there's a lot of words and some restrictions there to try to, rein it in, because again, a lot of people would register a business name and don't get a license from central bank, or they're saying they're a pawn shop, they're a lending institution. So those are some of the main restrictions that we have.
I'm curious to note how you are all incorporating modern tech with this new bill? I imagine it would be more of an online registration, and then how can folks, more with people with the mom and pop shops and
Yes.
businesses that are not so tech savvy, how would they be able to
Yes.
do this?
Well, the business name registration is already happening in the online business registry system, and the registry participates in a lot of roadshows. So they partner with anyone, whether it's Beltrade, whether it's the different ministries, whether it's the Department of Youth. We've had many invitations, BTB, and even our own different roadshows. That's how they're trying to reach to the people. And as Santiago mentioned earlier, one of the areas that we still need to do more work with are the villages. We've touched on municipalities. We work quite closely with the different municipalities, but the villages, I think, still need us to go there in person and to talk them through everything and to make them realize that registering brings a lot of value addition and helps to preserve and protect and build them up as a business.
How would you tackle a space or an area that have these mom and pop shops and these areas, these villages that perhaps don't have internet, or
Yes.
how would they do this? And of course, the roadshow helps, but if they have to, I don't know, refine their license or re-register again,
Yes.
what would they have to do?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that was one of the points that we took into consideration. We were looking at this and when we did the online business registry system. But I think now having the online business registry, we see registrations from all parts of the country. So I don't think internet is a problem.
Yeah.
But still, we're there to help. It's not like we do understand the issue, and sometimes we try to partner with the municipalities, like maybe Punta Gorda, we had San Pedro, we had Belmopan, we had different, where they are able to assist their public, if they go there and they want to register trade license or whatever, they are able to assist these people to register, renew, whatever with their business.
Have you been able to perhaps look at certain trends in terms of parts of the country that are registering more businesses than others? Perhaps that speaks to maybe a boom in certain sectors or certain parts of the country?
Yeah.
Yes, we have. And actually, when we launched the online business registry, business name has been increasing. Right now, I think for the first time that we're taking records, there was a month that we did over 400 a month.
Wow.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
I think right now the average is a little bit over 350 a month, which again, it's great. We've had like 3,289 in 2023. We had 3,800 in 2024, and we expect that this year it's going to increase. So with that, we're saying it's working. It is there. We still know that we have to visit again more the urban areas, the villages and that, but we would say it's working.
What are you finding? Perhaps is it that you have more people who are doing business name reservation as opposed to people who are actually registering the names of their business and then actually pursuing it as a concern?
What would you say? It would be a bit, but I think for us to know if they're just reserving, but I think it's more what we're seeing, like the tourism sections. We're seeing a lot of people opening small businesses with juices. You have people that do braiding. So food, catering, that's one of the things. So, but one of the main, it's tourism that we're seeing there.
What are the requirements to operate as a tangible business? And I say tangible because we have a lot of businesses that operate online only, and
the requirements are the same.
Same.
Okay,
The
requirements
same.
are the same. Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of your ID, you need to ensure that you have the information of your business filled out, your address, your phone number, your contact information, information on the owners, whether it's an individual, partnership, or another company owning the business name. So those are really the main requirements.
And what would be the penalty or penalties if you're operating without a business name or you're not registered under the BCAR?
There is none at the moment. But this is one of the features that we want to bring into the new business name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were going to send me like a list just
there is
wow. I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah.
So people can't just, or they do.
They should not. They should not. Because the law says you should register.
And how does it help them? How does it boost their business in some sort of way if they register with BCCAR?
So one of the trends, or one of the things that has been helping us, is the financial institutions have been pushing business owners to come and register. Why? Because we're very connected in the global world, right? And there are many different things that we need to abide by: anti-money laundering, due diligence when it comes to KYC. So you're seeing this more and more, this conversation is happening more and more in different areas of the economy in Belize. So banks are very strict about, seeing a lot of income coming into your bank account. If it's a business, let's set up your business account properly. But in order for you to do so, you need to ensure you're registered with the company's registry. So that's one value addition, in that when you start formalizing, you start accessing more services, and you can maybe even apply for grants. You can, put in bids to bid for different contracts. So there are a lot of value addition to formalizing and registering your business, and the partners in the ecosystem are working with us, and we're working with them as well. I mean, for us, the goal and the vision is to really have that as once policy happen in Belize, in that once you've asked the client for certain things from one institution, then that information should follow in all the other institutions, and we don't need to be repeatedly asked over and over and over. So, there's a big
process is that though?
Well, it will take a lot of work. It takes all institutions to sit down and agree on some kind of information sharing. But other countries have done it, and it works beautifully. And actually, other countries have laws against asking a client for the same information over and over. So, I mean, it's something, and it also helps to control and to protect your data and your information, because there are controls put in place, and there's a clear understanding of how data should flow and how data should be shared. And certain types of data are restricted, certain types of data you can share. So we have a way to go.
I know that you've been working on this for the better part of 3 years, as you've mentioned.
Yes.
How close are you all to coming to an agreement, a conclusion of it, and of course informing your business clientele?
So when it comes to information sharing, I mean, that's an ongoing discussion. We constantly have that on the table with the different partners. When it comes to all the work that's happening at the registry, yes, in 2022 is when the system launched. The system was launched with 3 entities services available. Now we have 4 services available. So we have business name registration, we have company incorporation, and we have limited liability partnership registration. Last year, the end of last year, we launched a movable property and collateral registry. That's going really well. We have close to 1,000 registrations. And that is a success for the country, because when we were doing our research, the other jurisdictions that have such a similar registry said it's not being used. So we took all these, advice and experiences from other jurisdictions, and we tried to plan for Belize to ensure that it's a regime that people are taking advantage of. So that's what we have. And every year we keep working to expand the system. This year we're bringing on limited liability companies, which is different from companies, Belize companies. Next year, we want to bring on trust. And at the end of this year, we want to bring on foundations. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have many entities in Belize, and we have our work cut out for us in terms of educating the public of the features and the benefits of these different entities. Because maybe a company doesn't work for you, maybe you need a trust, or maybe you need a foundation. So, these are the different entities that we have. Yes.
You put out a call to basically ask the population, the business community, what they think about these new features and so forth when it comes to BCCAR and how they can register their business and so forth.
Right. So the call is for the business name bill proper. we have the draft posted on the website, on the registry's website and on the FSC website. We also have published a consultation paper. So that consultation paper outlines the different features of the bill and is asking the public, what do you think about this? What is your feedback on this? Is this enough? Is it too restricted? So that's how that consultation paper is drafted, and it's the first time that we're implementing such a model. Before, when we draft a bill, we would just put together a group of stakeholders and have them guide the drafting of the bill. Because the business name bill is a bill that affects the whole populace, we decided to change the model and to really bring in everyone and anyone in the public to have them give their feedback. So how they can give feedback, we have, as mentioned, the bill and the consultation paper published on our website. We also have an online questionnaire published on the website, and anyone can participate. We're planning to do direct communication with different startup business associations, different institutions that have some kind of interest in the business name. And we're also planning to do a series of virtual and in-person sessions throughout the country to ensure that we're hearing from everyone. And we're asking the public to really participate, to reach out to us, to give us suggestions, to see how we can improve and ensure that we capture their needs in the business name bill.
I know how difficult that can be to get.
Yes, it is. It is.
Sometimes after the fact, then you're going to start hearing, right?
That's usually the case indeed. But before we close, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers this morning? And of course, just to maybe go over some of the details when it comes to redefining this bill.
Right. So for me, I just wanted to wrap up with the period. There is a very specific period for consultation. So we went live with the bill and the consultation paper the end of July, and the consultation period runs for 90 days. And we want to see what we gathered in and see if there's a need to go back to get more information from the public. But for now, that is the period, and we're asking again the public to once again participate.
On our part of the registry, we're really asking for them because we're doing this for the public. You're the business owner. There is a responsibility again for you to do, and we're trying to make it easier, but we really can't do it with your help, without your help. So that's a big part for everyone to really look at it and point out things. We think that this is going to work better than what it is right now. So those are things that we actually want to hear. That's the feedback.
What I would say for any viewers that this may have piqued their interest and they're now thinking maybe I should register a business name, feel free to contact us. We have customer service representatives. We could be reached via email, via WhatsApp, a phone call. You can even pass by our office. We would be happy to help and answer any questions that anybody may have.
And the website that they can go on to look at the consultation paper?
www.bccar.bz. And please follow our social media pages. We're always publishing updates on the social media pages.
Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, as they rightfully mentioned, if you have any thoughts about this new bill and the consultation paper, just head on over to bccar.bz for your input. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more OYE. Don't go away.
The Mexican Caribbean, a whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios and Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer with these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
And welcome back. For our second conversation this morning, we have been joined by Dr. Ivan De Paz Mejia. He's an internist specialist. Good morning,
Good
Doc.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you
And
for
we're
having
discussing dengue. So there seems to be an outbreak of dengue this time of year. It's the rainy season. And a lot of people have either been coming down with dengue or malaria or one of those mosquito-borne illnesses. But for the purpose of our conversation this morning, we're focusing on dengue. Let's begin by talking about the different forms of dengue that one can contract.
Yes, as you mentioned, dengue is a mosquito-borne infection, and the latest classification that they have given us, it talks about 3 specific types of dengue. Dengue without warning signs, dengue with warning signs, and dengue that is severe, that it could either be dengue hemorrhagic or dengue shock syndrome.
How are you defining these 3 types of dengue? Different symptoms? How do you know?
The most common one is the dengue without warning signs. It's the usual dengue fever that it's, as the name says, it has fever, headache, loss of appetite, weakness, and body aches. That's why they call it the breakbone fever. And it's usually a disease that goes without complications, and we don't really have a specific antiviral for it. It's just a matter of supporting the process and the patient until the patient recovers by itself.
And how long is that period of time?
Well, it has 3 phases: the febrile phase, followed by the critical phase, and lastly the recovery phase.
So I've had dengue before, and I know that there is no cure, there is no treatment per se. You just kind of have to
go through,
ride out the symptoms. Maybe you take a Tylenol for the fever or something like that, but it is really, really painful. But I still can't tell you how I catch dengue. How does
mosquito bit you?
Yeah, but is it like a particular mosquito? What is it that happens before you even get to that stage of fever and chills?
Yeah, it's amazing that we have so many things in our table. We have so many activities going for the day, and sometimes if we don't pay attention to detail, that's when things can happen. Of course, you are not aware of a mosquito. This disease is caused by the Aedes mosquito, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and they are usually daytime feeders. They bite you during the daytime or at sunset. This is when we are out. So it's completely understandable that you are not even aware of how you got the dengue. because you are busy doing other things.
Yeah.
And they would usually bite you in the areas that you have exposed that are having no clothing. But as you rightfully said, we are in dengue season, so it begins with awareness, understanding that we are transitioning from an outbreak of influenza to an outbreak of dengue. We just have to change the mentality and the practices that we go on a daily
But here's the thing, Doc, right? There's this public awareness campaign that's virtually year-round, where we're being told you can't have bodies of water unattended, like in containers or any kind of receptacles, right? You have a spare tire in your yard, it fills up with water, you know, that's breeding ground for mosquitoes, right? So that's where the actual awareness begins from. You have to be able to get rid of any stagnant water from your property or what have you. But you find a lot of times that people don't really adhere to that. And then they wonder, you know, why so much mosquitoes or that sort of thing.
Yeah, it takes multiple stakeholders. We can't leave this completely to the Ministry of Health or the healthcare providers. We have to take action in the prevention and assisting the society into controlling a disease that it's growing in frequency and in cases as the years go by. I remember when I was a medical student and we would see the cases of dengue, and it didn't touch us until one of our colleagues was in the ICU with dengue.
See, that was going to be my next question, because while we kind of sort of think of it as this nonchalant disease, there is no prevention in terms of like a vaccine or anything like that, but it can be severe, right? Can people die from dengue?
Well, thankfully medicine is advancing and the knowledge of the disease is advancing, so under the right circumstances, the right follow-up, the right management, the mortality is very low. Unfortunately, that's in the books. In real life, sometimes most of us, we try to fix the problem at home. We try to do our natural remedies. And we follow guidance that it's common. And it's only when things are going out of control that we decide to seek medical care. And sometimes we arrive late to the healthcare facility. So one of the important things to do is be aware of what you are going through and get the right diagnosis. The right diagnosis will lead you to the right treatment, even if you don't like the right treatment, even if you are sent to be hospitalized. Nobody wants to be hospitalized. I always tell my patients, I do understand that you don't want to get hospitalized, but unfortunately for the label that we are giving you, you require hospitalization for IV hydration and continuous follow-up. And that's what we need to act as a society, so we make sure we raise awareness of this condition.
Talk to me about dengue hemorrhagic fever, the severity of it, and perhaps what are some of the symptoms of this extreme dengue?
Luckily for us, it's not common. It's 5% of the total dengue cases can progress to dengue hemorrhagic fever, and the symptoms will begin with the warning signs of dengue, which are abdominal pain, vomiting, weakness, abnormal blood markers in your blood tests, like low platelets or rising hematocrit. These will be the ones telling you that you have to take action to prevent you progressing from the dengue hemorrhagic fever, which, as the name underscores, is characterized by abnormal bleeding. It could be in the nose, in the gums, it could be in the menstrual period, or it could be you vomiting blood or passing blood in the stool.
Wow.
So we are, as a part of your education awareness campaign, you did bring a PowerPoint to present to our viewers.
Well, I brought some slides.
Just so that we can talk about it. And right now we have on screen, it's the
that's the famous mosquito, the Aedes aegypti, which is most of the cases are are caused by the Aedes aegypti, which is the vector that public health tries to eliminate. We do have other cases of dengue given by the Aedes albopticus. Luckily for us, these are milder cases. This mosquito is prevalent in the tropical zones. It's not only exclusive for dengue. We can have also yellow fever with it. We can have chikungunya. We can have Zika. So,
okay.
I was watching a statistic fairly recently where they're looking at various animals and various illnesses that come from animals that are deadly, and the mosquito is the number one in this case insect, right, that kills more people than, for instance, shark attacks or alligator bites or that sort of stuff.
All of these diseases.
All of these, diseases, as April mentioned. In your capacity as a medical doctor, how do you look at vector control and perhaps what the public health department is doing to be able to address the issue of mosquitoes in and about the place?
Luckily, in Belize, the vector control unit is very passionate about the work that they do. You can always see the trucks of the Ministry of Health fumigating the streets.
In the morning, before dawn, and in the evening, just before nightfall, right?
Yes. So they are available whenever you have a question. You can contact the vector control unit, and they will come and do an area inspection if you have an area that needs to be worked. They are also taking control of the lots that need to be taken care of, clean or properly disposed garbage. So I think for the capacity that they are trying to do their best effort, but we have to remember that that's a multidisciplinary approach to a condition like this. We have a role. It's very important to involve other areas of society like businesses, like tourism board, like schools, Ministry of Education, to be able to add curriculum of dengue in the schools. So from we are kids, we are being educated about this disease. So whenever we face a problem like this, we can act fast.
I wanted to go back to you explaining some of the symptoms that we can experience while having dengue. Is it the same for kids? Do kids have the same exact symptoms as adults would when they are suffering from dengue?
Well, that's why I admire a lot the work of the pediatricians, because in this area of medicine, you don't really communicate with the patient. The younger the kid, the less history that you can take, and you have to rely only on your physical findings and the communication that you can have with the parents. So your medical or your clinical skill need to be very developed for you to be able to pick up a case like this of dengue, because you will only have irritation, crying, the child is not feeding properly, is having fever. It could be so many things. It could be an ear infection, it could be a respiratory infection, it could be a urinary tract infection, it could be. So in regards to manifestations, I think it's easier to diagnose a case in an adult. Because you obviously have the time to interview the patient and to do your physical examination. It is a little bit more challenging in kids as well, because they belong to one of the high-risk groups of complicated dengue infections, so they are easier to get more sick and to have adverse outcomes. So for you to be dealing with a kid with possible dengue, you need to make sure you take your time to assess the case and to give the parents appropriate health education and management a close follow-up.
I think that for our for our viewers that might be watching and might think, well, if I have dengue and I survived it, it was the non symptomatic one, but if I get the severe one, is it worse for me? What are my chances?
After a primary infection of dengue, you will gain lifelong immunity to that specific virus. We have four types of dengue: dengue 1, dengue 2, dengue 3, and dengue 4 virus. So if you pass the primary infection, you will gain lifelong immunity. So we can only have dengue 4 times in our lives.
Okay.
But the second one, it can progress to a more severe form of dengue.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That if you catch it a second time around,
Might be
it's
pretty
worse
bad.
than the first
Yeah.
one or what have you.
Yes, and the problem is that sometimes you are not even aware that you got it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because 50 to 75% of the cases go with mild symptoms or asymptomatic. So the only way that people get to know that they had dengue is sometimes by doing routine examinations, and they already test positive for the IgG for dengue, for example. That's how you know that you had it before.
And then when you get it the second time, it comes with all of these horrible symptoms.
You are not prepared for it.
Yes.
Because in your mind you have not experienced dengue before, and now you have to deal with it, and that's the thing.
Doc, here's the thing though. I don't think anyone is prepared for dengue. No. As much as we all try to be careful and swat mosquitoes if they're around or spray the house or what have you, anything could happen, right? You could be on your way to work and you get pinched by a mosquito, and then there you go.
I was lucky to, sometimes you are going through difficulties in your life, and you don't realize that sometimes these difficulties are preparing you for something bigger in the future.
Yeah.
When I was in training, in residency training, it was around 2009, and I remember that we were dealing with this swine flu.
Yeah.
And we had cases in United States and Mexico, and I was working in the emergency room as a triage doctor whenever they came and told us we have a case arriving from Mexico City by plane with flu symptoms. I was the lucky one to be sent to address the case, and immediately I recognized that it was a new illness. And we had to notify public health, and we started the case for a swine flu, one of the first cases of swine flu in Guatemala. We lost, just in my hospital, like 25 people to the swine flu.
Wow.
And what caught my attention is that most of them were lung patients with respiratory conditions, with chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, or overweight. So that prepare me for what was coming next, the pandemic of COVID-19. Whenever we saw the cases coming, I was able to recognize the pattern, but this one was different because this one would kill the doctors and the nurses. The swine flu would only affect the patients. But in this one, I had to develop a plan which included a lot of exercise, because I said the only way that I can survive something like this if I get infected is if I am very fit. And that's one of the graphics that I brought today. It's when you ask what can we do, nobody is prepared to address dengue. Well, there is recent scientific evidence that a person that is fit, that is doing a lot of exercise, can have a natural immunological defense against the dengue virus via the lectin mechanism. So it's always that we always preach you have to eat healthy, you have to exercise, but it's so gratifying to be able to finally be able to put what we preach into practice. If you are fit, if you have a lot of miles of exercise in your legs, and you get to face a condition like this, name it dengue, name it COVID-19, name it sepsis, name it a major road traffic accident, your chances of surviving are higher than if you have not done your personal work. So in regards to dengue, what can we do against such a small vector? Well, we can be as healthy as a horse, or we can be as fit as a horse, and our chances of surviving or passing a mild disease like this will be higher.
But for you, for dengue season, as you call it, for persons that might need to seek treatment and so forth, what can they do?
Well, first of all, you need to act fast. You need the right diagnosis, and after the third day of illness, it is ideal that you do daily evaluations by your healthcare provider, because your healthcare provider will be following the disease course with you. They will be able to identify what your vital signs are, and if you are having signs of symptoms of a complicated dengue infection. This is not only physical examination, we also rely in blood tests like the platelet count, the hematocrit. We also do the liver function tests, so we can understand what is your dengue scenario. I have discovered other conditions by dengue. I have discovered patients that have undiagnosed hepatitis C by being infected with dengue. Yes, because the dengue will bring out whatever liver problems you have hidden, and we will be able to find it because of a severe dengue case for somebody that we are not expecting a severe case like that. So it is very, it's a disease that you need to move, and you need to move fast. Most of the times we try to fix it at home and do our own thing, and with conditions like dengue, like COVID-19, especially when we didn't have the vaccines, or sepsis, the faster you move and the faster you gain control of the infection, the higher your chances of surviving are.
But we have things like malaria pills, and we have vaccines for other diseases. Why don't we have anything for dengue?
Well, we have vaccines for dengue in advanced countries. We have a vaccine called Dengue, which is approved by the FDA for kids 9 years to 16 years old. But you must have had dengue already, so you qualify for the vaccine. They have other vaccine in Europe.
Well, that seems kind of, forgive me, Doc, that seems kind of backward, man. Like
you have to get the disease so that you could get the vaccine.
Catch it first and then I qualify. Isn't the idea of a vaccine ideally to prevent?
Yes, but if you see the application of this, knowing that the secondary infection is going to be stronger than the primary infection, it goes directly into what we preach, because you already had it, and we are going to give you the vaccine so you don't have a strong secondary infection.
So if you had like an...
Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So you need to do blood tests, and once you can prove that you had dengue already, well, you may be eligible. But because nobody wants to use the vaccine in the United States, the producer of the vaccine is taking it out of the market now. So
wow.
Yes.
No sense on a Belize, man.
Yeah. So we don't have a preventative method in terms of a vaccination here in this side.
They have it in Europe, in Brazil. What they are working on is working with the vector. They are doing genetically modified mosquitoes that we are trying to kill the offspring of the mosquito. But there is a lot of work to do in dengue, and unfortunately, as the years go by, we can see more cases of dengue, climate change, we have more heat, we have more population, we have disorganized population growth. So
I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about preventative measures, but for our viewers that are watching that, like you said, you know, we're busy living our lives, we don't know that we've been infected with this disease, but what can we do at home to prevent?
Well, you have to make sure that you have your windows and your doors with a screen. You need to make sure you don't have standing water in your lot or tires. You need to make sure you have a mosquito repellent. And somehow some people are more vulnerable to mosquitoes than others. I can see it at home. I don't really have any problem with mosquitoes. I don't know if they don't like me or whatever, but
there's something where it's a matter of perhaps the mosquitoes being able to perceive
your blood.
something of, like, I say that in a curious way, Doc, because mosquitoes are drawn to some people and they're not drawn to others. So there has to be something in terms of a perception where that is concerned.
Something interesting is alcohol consumption makes you more tasty to mosquitoes.
Interesting.
Wow,
Yes.
all right. Note to self.
Note to self,
Yes.
indeed.
And alcohol consumption is well ingrained in the Belize culture.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something that you said, what can we do? How can we prepare? I guess just being a healthy person, try to be as healthy as possible. You have more complications if you're a hypertensive, if you're a diabetic, if you have so many conditions. So don't become a diabetic, don't become a hypertensive. Try to lose your extra pounds that you have. I know it sounds easy. It never gets easier as you age, but there is something called responsible aging that maybe we have to work very hard. So hopefully we can achieve a goal of dying without diabetes, for example.
Well, Doc, if you have any final words when it comes to dengue and what our viewers should be aware of when it comes to this disease, please feel free to share.
Thank you. Yes, in regards to dengue, please be mindful of your symptoms. Visit your healthcare provider and make sure you follow the guidance closely, because one mistake in regards to the treatment or the follow-up of dengue can put you in serious problems and you can end up hospitalized with a severe dengue infection. So it's not to be afraid of dengue, but it's to man up and to be responsible enough to understand that even if you catch it, you have done your part and you are going to do your best.
Well, thank you so much, Doc. And of course, please come back anytime to discuss any other autoimmune diseases and other infections.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and I must congratulate you for what you do is by educating people that we can solve problems.
Yes.
So you are a window through which the different experts come and share their experience that they do every day. So it's very important to continue this dissemination of information, the right information.
Indeed. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Oh man, one more stroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
All right, when the one from the end, the window open and the light they turn off. It look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, yes?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter. They call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV for BL. How do you know?
Yes, man. It don't reach the man the better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So now when you are reach my area?
We're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Welcome back for our third conversation. We're diving into the beverage industry, it would seem, and we have with us Kadeem Vernon, and he is the brand coordinator of innovations over at Bowen Bowen. And based on all the merch that we have here, where it's all about going overdrive, if you will. Good morning, Kadeem.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here and talk about this new product. This is honestly, like, the reaction I've received so far has been beyond my expectations of what this brand is going to be. Overdrive is the ultimate party fuel. It's the next big thing. If you're not drinking overdrive at your next party, I don't think you're partying that good.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've seen some banners running about Belize City, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. So for me, this is sort of like the big reveal, right?
Yes.
Talk to us a bit about overdrive, what it contains, and what is it separate from what other people believe it is?
Yes. So this is our new product. It's a carbonated alcoholic drink, an ARTD, which means it's an alcoholic ready-to-drink mix. So it doesn't need any additives for you to drink it. You can just open it and go, right? So this contains all the natural energizers or ingredients, ginseng, taurine, guarana, and also 7% alcohol. And the best part is this is caffeine free, so it doesn't make your heart race as much. So it is relatively safe, FDA safe as well, right?
So it's not a beer, and it's not an energy drink.
No.
So what
it's
is
party
it?
fuel.
It's party fuel.
Right?
What would you categorize this as?
This, to categorize it, you could say it's similar to like Smirnoff, but this is actually stronger. It has more ingredients, more natural ingredients to fuel the party, right? And I just want to talk about the packaging as well, because you see it's a very beautiful
very
can
colorful
design. It's a very sleek can.
I think about that Mexican culture when I see it.
The skull.
And many people, talked about that. What does the skull mean, right? Like, why put a skull there? It seems dangerous. Should I drink it, right? But the skull actually...
it's very, very colorful. Go ahead.
Yeah, the skull actually represents the party spirit within all of us. Now, we all know we have those friends that, they're pretty chill most of the time, but once you get a drink or two in them, you see that party animal come out of them, right? So that's what the skull represents. Some people, they have that party spirit on the surface, but some people need a liquid courage to bring it out. So that's what overdrive is, to fuel the party animal within all of us.
Why did Bowen Bowen decide to go in this direction when it comes to creating a new beverage?
Well, as my title assumes, I'm the brand coordinator of innovations, right? So this is something we wanted to make it different from anything in our portfolio, which is why, people have a lot of questions like, is it a beer? Is it an energy drink? It's none of those things, right? This is a unique formula that we created, that it's supposed to be bold, refreshing, and for you to enjoy responsibly, right? And that's one thing I want to make sure everybody understands. This is not something that we want you to, say get intoxicated and, have bad things happen. We want you to enjoy responsibly. So when you party, party with people that enjoy responsibly, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm not saying, if you drink 5, 7 and then you're not gonna get drunk, right? Of course,
I think
you
if
will.
you drink one, 7% is a lot, guys.
7% is manageable, really.
Yeah.
It's if you overdo, if you overdrive, then
if you go over the drive. But I'm curious about the recipe, because I'm reading it here, and you did rightly mention that there's no caffeine.
Yes.
Right, and of course it says that here. But the flavor, I'm very curious about that.
The flavor is very refreshing, carbonated, bubbly. It's sweet to the taste. So you get that sweetness. It also gives you a bit of a boost. I think you can drink Party Fuel anywhere, honestly. One of my coworkers tried it while he was at the gym, and that gave him, he put in his headphones. He was having a party at the gym, right? So that's one of the ways, well, I would say an innovative way people can, use our product and enjoy it.
Is this product already available for retail?
Actually, today is the first day you can actually buy it in stores. And I actually sent in a video from our launch party that we had at Shisha on Saturday. This was the official launch party of Overdrive. And I just want to thank the team at Shisha so much for having us. They really allowed us to basically deck out the place with Overdrive. There was a dance competition. We actually created a song for this campaign as well in a dance hall genre. So if I were to describe this brand in 3 words, it's bold, it's expressive, it's sexy, right? So Overdrive is
a marketing strategy.
Yes. So we don't want it to be overly sexual or raunchy, but we want people to be free to express themselves. So the skull, the design, all of it, it's graffiti, so it's all about freedom of expression and partying the way that you want.
Honestly, if you didn't come here and I saw this in the store, I would be curious, because it's very pretty. It's very capturing. The colors are neat. I'm a skull lover. I love the skull on it. And the fact that it doesn't have that caffeine, like you said, is quite intriguing.
And just so you know, it's not. Although it's so pretty, it's not that expensive either. This retails for only $4. And it's 355 mLs, 12 ounces. So it's honestly very affordable. A case is $35. We sell it in 12 packs. So today you can go to major supermarkets. You can go to bars and clubs, Shisha, of course, and you can get our Party Fuel Overdrive.
I was thinking about, because you're saying it's a good party drink and so forth, and here I think we're a very beer country. Bowen Bowen, of course, supplies us with Belkin. But what would be this standout of Overdrive compared to perhaps the other beverages that Bowen Bowen has on the market?
Well, like I mentioned, this is a combination of all the things people love about drinking or partying in general. So when we go out to party, we like to feel energized, right? We like to feel, we like that sustained boost throughout the night. And this is something that will keep you going throughout the night. So this is honestly one of the best drinks you could have to party with. And also it has a sweet flavor. So I mean, a lot of females specifically, right? But a lot of people do love the sweet drinks, as we see in the market right now. Beer is good, but people also love flavor and refreshness, right? So that's what inspired this formula to make it a refreshing but energizing drink.
Tell you what though, you couldn't have launched at a better time, because the September celebrations are right around the corner, right? So you're getting a head start in terms of being able to put this product out there, so that when Carnival comes around, when all of these other events come around, Party Fuel right there.
Exactly. And you'll see in our campaign as well throughout this month, we will be attending all of the mass camp events. Some of them are already out, so you can follow our Facebook or Instagram page, Overdrive BZ. And you can see all the activations we're doing countrywide. So this is not just in Belize City, guys, it's countrywide. We're taking over Belize with Overdrive, right? Nice. So I do want to mention, yes, we had the launch party in Belize City on Saturday, but we're not done there. We're gonna have launch parties all across the country. So we're gonna be in San Pedro, in Dangriga, we're gonna be in Cayo, end of the month. for a really massive day party. I don't want to give too much information about that yet, but you can follow our Facebook page and our Instagram to find out more details about that day party in Cayo.
As brand manager for innovation, what's in the pipeline? What's next? What are you working on? What can we look forward to?
What you can look forward to is us taking over the market with Overdrive. So right now it's all about Overdrive with a party all year long, right?
Yeah,
so
I know
that's
Bowen Bowen is good for a party all year long.
I mean, is there a party without our products?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, right? Because you said you're just putting it out into the market today. What do you think the response? Because you've had the launch party, you had a good turnout. The response has been good so far. What can people expect from this? I mean, you said I'm not a party person, so maybe not a party fuel, right? But I should still just have a nice lax drink with Overdrive. I could still do that. I don't need
of course, like I said,
energy booster.
Like I said, from if you're a person who loves to party or someone who likes to be chill,
it works either way.
It works for any kind of party, right? Any kind of party you have. Of course, if you have 3 or 4 of them, it'll turn into a different kind of party, right? So this drink allows you to shift in Overdrive, and that's actually the name of our song, by the way. And honestly, it was an amazing hit. People really loved the song. That was a really...
Who's behind the song? Who's the artist or?
We actually hired a producer from down south in Placencia, Randy Sutherland, and he helped produce the song with a vocalist, a local Belizean artist as well.
All right.
Wonderful. Can I open the Overdrive?
Yes. Go ahead and try it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
I know it's early in the morning, right? But I mean, we have to start the party. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I need to smell it at least just to... Okay, see, and I'll tell you something. This is why I think a lot of people probably think it's an energy drink, because it smells very fruity, right?
Sweet.
It's sweet.
Sweet, refreshing.
It's
very nice when it's
bubbles
cold.
in there. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's not caffeinated. You don't taste caffeine. And I was hoping to get that caramel flavor in there, but
as you see, it has a nice, rich golden color, and that's because we don't add caffeine. Caffeine drastically changes the flavor, the look, and the taste of the drink. So compared to other competitors, it really looks like a very dark brown, but ours, we wanted to make it visually appealing as well as the flavor being very pleasant. So without the presence of caffeine, you get to taste all of the flavors. You get to taste all the natural ingredients in there that give you that boost. You also get to taste the sweetness from the ingredients in there, and also you get the refreshing bubbles.
Wonderful. Well, Overdrive is now in stores countrywide, and they retail for $4.
And it's 12 ounces, guys. This is a larger can. It might just look small on your screen, but trust me,
no, it's a pretty tall can.
This is a pretty tall can. I remember the ingredients is ginseng, taurine, guarana, and 7% alcohol. And with no caffeine added.
As with anything Bowen and Bowen, the party could start at any time, right? You don't have to wait till 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly. You could do it at 5 in the morning.
Wow. All right. Well, you know what, Kadeem, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for introducing Overdrive to our viewers and to us. But we can't let you leave without answering, or if you know the cultural word or the phrase of the day. So we have a cultural phrase today, and it goes like this, and kind of fitting really with your branding. Where bone no provide, dog no day. Where bone no provide, dog no day. Where bone no provided, dog no day.
What's your take? How do you translate that? What's your understanding of it?
Where there's no food.
Well,
I'm guessing, if there's nothing there, no one will show up.
Yeah.
If there's no drinks, no one will be there.
You know what?
There we go.
If there's no Overdrive, nobody had it.
So you're very much not wrong from the meaning, right? And so where bones aren't provided, dogs are not there, meaning if you did not receive an invitation, you're not invited.
Well, guys, this is your invitation to all the Overdrive stations. We actually gonna have party fuel stations popping up across the country. So you need to look out for our Overdrive fuel stations. We're going to be doing some free samples and also some flash sales, so you can get your Overdrive on the go.
So if
talk to us about the merch.
Yeah.
Yes,
you have a bunch of stuff on this.
Actually brought these ones for you guys. I kind of guessed your sizes, right? So we
You
actually
did a pretty
have
good
these
job of
dry
guessing
fit
mine.
shirts. We have caps. We have these water bottles. We also have whistles. We have a ton of different merch. We have swimsuits. You'll see that during the carnival as well. Just so you can get excited and see what that will look like. We'll be publishing the videos out soon.
And you did say that you will be touring the country and so forth. Where can we find the tour map or the tour schedule?
Yes, so you can follow our Facebook and Instagram page to get the full schedule. But we do want to make sure that people are engaged. So you might get it a day or two before, but definitely you can expect it each Friday.
And that's Overdrive on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, we'll release the locations the day or two before, but it'll definitely be on Fridays.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kadeem, and thank you so much for the merch and for introducing Overdrive.
Awesome. Enjoy, and thank you guys for having me.
All right. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back.
Use B-Bucks to purchase items at any Benny's location. Spend B-Bucks on items in-store after you have earned them. You can gift or transfer B-Bucks to another B-Bucks member or registered charity. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbucks.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's. Quality and savings.
Josetún presenta Los Cumbia Kings. Los Cumbia Kings en concierto. Este 30 de agosto en el Estadio del Pueblo, Orange Bowl, Belice. Los Cumbia Kings en vivo.
No tengo dinero ni nada que dar.
No te pierdas el concierto del año que te hará bailar como nunca. General 150, VIP 200 y Platino $350. Boletos a la venta en la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone. También con Orindrag con cuellos, Shell One Stop, María's Café, Lifestyle Beauty Salon y BCCAR Call Center al 611-3677. Amor Turquesa, Boutique Belmopá. Gracias al patrocinio de
BTV, Mechas, Cuellos, Lock and Loaded, Mark Production, Quick Pass, Lighthouse,
Instituto Nacional de Cultura e Historia y Smart Belice.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix, Season 7, every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GVM Studios on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
Welcome back. We are about to embark on a very interesting conversation, Isani. And the hot topic is would establishing an independent prison oversight body reduce incidents of inmate neglect and abuse? So this is coming at the heels of that particular news item that we shared last week.
Also on the heels of a ruling
yes.
that was handed down by the High Court last week, right?
Yes.
Where Justice Tawanda Hondura ruled in favor of the Abadi family, where they had brought a claim against the Belize Central Prison and the government of Belize. The background here is that Mr. Abadi was serving a 6-year sentence, right? And he had certain health conditions where, notwithstanding the family bringing it to the attention of the Colby Foundation's management, there were no actions taken to be able to address his health situation. And by the time they did so, it was already too late. Mr. Abadi passed away, right? And so the family sought the legal services of Leroy Banner and brought a claim against the government and the Belize Central Prison. They settled for $300,000. So that's the background.
Yes.
Now, the question at hand is, would establishing an independent prison oversight body reduce incidents of inmate neglect and abuse? Good. It's an excellent question because it brings into sharp focus the need for some kind of oversight where this is concerned. And the immediate thought or the immediate thing that comes to mind is the situation involving Oscar Salgado, right? I recall that when he was convicted and sentenced, part of the deliberations on his behalf from his attorney had to do with his medical condition, and he is diabetic, so they were asking, okay, is he receiving the proper treatment, is he getting the proper food, and what have you. So this is the question though, notwithstanding someone's conviction and the fact that they're in prison, you still have to be able to look after their health and their well-being, right? So it's not like you're putting them in a cell for the duration of their sentence and not be concerned with how they're doing physically and health-wise, right? And I think the decision speaks to that.
Yeah.
You have a duty of care, notwithstanding the fact that this person is an inmate serving time.
It goes back to, I think, the conversation about human rights. And regardless of them being in prison, they still should have access to certain health care, whether that be mental or physical, also education. It boils down to the things that you should have the right to as a human being. But and I'm not segueing from the topic, I promise, but it brings me to this Netflix series that came out, I think, in 2016 or something to that effect. And it was called Inside the World's Toughest Prisons, or the Worst Prisons. And Belize was highlighted in that series. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Bits and pieces, yes.
And so it kind of brought to some of these exact topics that we're discussing right here, the rights of inmates, or just the basic infrastructure itself and the layout of the prison, and how what the relationship is with the prisoners and the guards and so forth. I think that with this particular topic though, Isani, I saw a lot of controversial comments when it comes to they're in prison. Should they even have certain needs? They're in prison, they're serving a sentence because they did A, B, C, and D. And I think that for us, when we're talking about human rights, at the end of the day, they should not be neglected of their health. They should not be neglected
one of your
some of their
fundamental human rights include access to health care.
Indeed.
Right? So it doesn't matter if you're incarcerated or you're in a mental asylum, for argument's sake, you still maintain that basic or fundamental human right. If you're sick, you should be able to access a doctor. You should be able to access a facility that is able to treat your sickness, your illness, right? In this case, they're arguing that he was deprived of that. And hence the reason he passed away in custody, right? Now, this decision sets precedence, because this is now the example of what not to do, right? And I'm hoping that, and here's the thing, April, as with any government settlement, that money come out of me and your taxpayers' dollars, right?
Absolutely.
But, and as much as it pains me to think of it, again, it sets the precedence so that there's no repetition of this in the future. We hope that they would have learned a lesson that, look, you can't treat people without their basic dignity, without basic human rights, without basic essentials that they need to be able to carry on, notwithstanding the fact that they're in jail.
Yeah, it makes me wonder about the administrative structure within the Kobe Foundation. It also makes me wonder about how their staff is trained to deal with inmates, how their staff is trained to care for inmates, because you can't tell me, regardless whether or not you're saying that you never had access to the treatment, or you never had access to insulin, or you never had access to these things, as a foundation, I would have imagined that because you are harboring X amount of persons every single day, you should be able to at least have some sort of collaboration with health institutions, or at some way you should have the access to execute a level of care for your inmates.
So let's be fair to the situation. I'm not saying that from a blanket perspective they're neglecting these people. I don't think that's the case. Let's be fair to Kobe management. Maybe this was one of these cases that either they fell behind on or slipped through the crack, in a manner of speaking, or they may have just been deaf to the to the entire scenario, right? I don't know that a lot of people are dying in prison custody based on health issues or what have you. So this may have been an isolated incident, for all you know. All I'm saying is, it's a learning experience for them, right? That at the end of the day, you have to treat people the right way, particularly those who have underlying conditions that can escalate to something else while they're in your care.
Right.
You still have to be able to look after that.
But then it goes back to the initial question that we asked, right? Would establishing an independent prison oversight body reduce incidents of inmate neglect and abuse?
I would argue at this point, no, not necessarily. I don't see the need for one if you have at this point perhaps one situation, one isolated situation. Maybe there is need for one too, but perhaps that's for you to argue at this point to say why.
I wouldn't say yes and I wouldn't say no just yet because we don't know about other incidents. I would say we do have to perhaps do an in-depth research of what is taking place within the prison. I would also argue that not necessarily one oversight, but perhaps a collaboration of bodies that would be able to oversee the ins and outs of the prison.
So the facility houses inmates of all ages?
Yes.
Of all ethnic, racial background, what have you, right? It includes inmates with different kind of health conditions, right? So I'm certain that there's an HIV population in the Belize Central Prison. As much as we have those with diabetes, hypertension, whatever your illness
goes there.
may be, yes, right? So an oversight body would pretty much look after the administrative manner in which these people are dealt with. I think that's what oversight means in this particular case, right? And I'm saying to you that I believe there is already a structure in place to deal with these people. Maybe this was a random thing, like I said. I can't say that definitively. I'm only looking at the fact that, well, this is the one that was actually tested in court and found that there was neglect on the part of the Belize Central Prison. Now, is this indicative of rank neglect? I don't know that that's the case.
But I wouldn't just look at this one incident, though, Isane. We've reported several incidents of abuse from other areas within the prison, you know, whether that be prisoner abuse, whether that be prisoners coming out and accusing, you know, securities and so forth of abusing them or mistreating them and so forth. So it's not the first time we've had to speak about the Kobe Foundation in a sort of way when it comes to abuse of their prisoners.
But you know, prison is a tough environment for anyone to exist in, right? It's not a bed of roses, right? And I think my good friend Virgilio Morel would be the first to tell you that it's not a hotel stay. You're there because you ran afoul of the law, you were convicted of a particular crime, you're placed there to serve out your sentence with a view that upon your exit or at the end of your time, you would have been rehabilitated. But it's not to say that in that particular instance, you're not interacting with other hardened criminals or you're not exposed to other things that perhaps ordinarily you wouldn't have been exposed to if you did not commit that crime that puts you there. Right? But it goes back to the very, very argument that we're having or the conversation that we're having, that despite all of that, you are still a human being, right? We all get sick, right? So we need access to health care, right? You have basic rights that still need to be adhered to. And if we're saying that there's a departure from those basic rights, then someone has to answer for that because that's a direct violation of your very, very fundamental human right.
And I think when it comes down to this particular case, as you rightly mentioned, that we as the taxpayers would have to foot that bill, right? That's how the prison system works. That is how this agency would work. That is how they're able to fund the needs of the prison through our taxpayer dollars. And of course, it is a foundation, so they do get their monies from other partners. But I think in this question, in this particular incident, I do believe that perhaps there should be collaboration from other entities to oversee the ins and outs.
Well,
of the prison.
Fair. That's
right?
fair. But you do have an in-house physician too. I think when I was reading through the ruling of the High Court, it speaks to, and I've already, I think it's Dr. Novello if I'm not mistaken, I've already met the individual as well. Now, here's a question, right? If you only have one medical practitioner to service the entire population of inmates, which perhaps at this point is over 1,000. That's a tough call. To be fair to the situation, that's a tough call, right? Because you may have certain instances where there's an emergency that's taking place, right? So that has to be addressed with immediately versus someone who has to take a particular treatment on a schedule or what have you, and if that person misses that particular schedule, things go haywire for him or her. But the sheer size of the inmate population and being able to service that, if you only have a small team or a one-man team, if that were the case, then that's something that seriously needs to be looked at.
Yes, and then it goes back to my immediate point of having that collaboration, because if you only have this one person or 1,000 people that have different needs, by the way, because an in-house physician can only do so many diagnoses, right? And they can't necessarily be equipped to treat everything. You do need assistance.
I try my best to be as objective to a case or to a matter as possible. And so every so often I do see the prison bus at the Carl Houston Memorial Hospital. So I know that they're also bringing down inmates for checkups or for medical attention and what have you. So yes, but this is landmark in a sense, as we've said. It's the first that I've seen where a matter has been taken to the court that involves an inmate passing away in state custody, so to speak.
But I want to challenge you, and I want to challenge our viewers as well, because we're trying to find or discuss a solution to this incident, where it's a learning experience, it's a learning curve for the foundation. What can we do then? How can we assist? How can we make sure that this incident does not take place again?
All right, so if we're talking abuse in this specific sense, where health is concerned, right? And if we've identified that perhaps more needs to be done in terms of expanding the staff complement to be able to address health concerns, that would be, in my opinion, totally different than if you're discussing issues of physical abuse or any other forms of abuse behind bars, right? So maybe an oversight committee can look at that aspect of it. All these complaints are being forwarded about inmate abuse. But addressing health conditions should be something, in my opinion, that you could put more more doctors and medical
Nurses,
personnel on the ground to be able to deal with that.
But I would imagine that would come at a cost for the foundation as well.
Either way, it would come at a cost.
So yeah, right. No, you're right. It's just something that I think, if we're going to talk about it as a population and try to find a solution, we would have to understand that it would have to come with this cost. And if they increase their staff, if they have to create larger infrastructure.
What is more meaningful? Using the taxpayer dollar to implement certain systems and structures to avoid this from happening again, or using the taxpayers' dollars to pay damages for repeat instances?
The first one. No, but everybody wants to be able to
Either way, it comes at
assist.
cost, but
It does.
one has to be something that is justifiable and it's rational. When you explain or you set out the purpose of it, it makes perfect sense why we're spending the money, as opposed to simply saying, well, we'll ask now and there again, so make a dig down in the public coffers and pay out.
Agreed. When I said prevention is better than the cure,
Yeah.
right? But I'm hoping that our viewers did get something out of this conversation, Isani. I think that not just the prison, but there are definitely other institutions where you think about, should you get an oversighting body to see the ins and outs and the functions of certain institutions in order to prevent certain incidents from happening. I think with this particular incident, it was, I don't want to say it's controversial, but it was definitely something that people were discussing of
it's
the treatment.
If nothing else.
The treatment of prisoners. Do they actually receive the Medicare that they require? If you are in there with autoimmune disease, if you're in there with a tertiary disease, if you're there with a heart condition, if you're there with something, how do you get treated if you're there and you have like a hole in your heart or something like that, right?
I used the example of Oscar Salgado earlier, and it may have been, for all intents and purposes, a tactic being used by his defense as to why he shouldn't have served time. Could have very well been that. But if he does, in fact, have these conditions, so he's diabetic and he needs a certain regimen to be able to look after his health, then that has to be afforded to him. And any other inmate, for that matter, who has certain health conditions that need to be cared.
My final thoughts on the entire matter, because you did bring up the harshness of prison life, right? You did bring up that you will have squabbles in there and so forth. If you are diabetic and you get hurt so much that you get cut or you have a bleeding and so forth, that is detrimental to you.
Of course.
Right? So all of these sort of incidents that could lead up to perhaps you not necessarily receiving the care that you need can have cause. So it's
you have to get your insulin to time.
Yes.
You have to get your antiretroviral to time if you're HIV positive, and so on and so forth.
Your pressure pills if you're hypertensive and have a heart condition, all of these different things. But you know what? Thank you to our viewers for engaging with us this morning. That was our hot topic, and let us know if you have any other topics that you think we should be discussing here on The Couch. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back to wrap things up.
Yo, what's up, bro? This Western Union mom's a little money using DigiWallet. Uncle in the States pays me too, same app using DigiWallet. Bro, this is too easy. I can do this from anywhere. No lines, no hassle, just easy. All right, gotta run, bro. Take it easy.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa. And for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8. Live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer with these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for sticking with us. We want to say thank you to all of our guests for coming in and having the conversation with us on the couch. Very, very insightful discussions and topics that we covered here this morning. And of course, we want to say a big thank you to you, our viewers, because without you, we wouldn't be running here. So thank you so much. It is August 11th. And if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you from all of us here at OYE and GBM. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live stream on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OYE Belize. And of course, if you have a comment, you can also WhatsApp us on our WhatsApp number. That's 675-2555. And of course, please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, Belize. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Goodbye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.